I tried to explain what happened here in terms of them not picking up the fifth-year option but signing him to a contract extension. I probably didn't do a very good job. Can you walk me through what just went down today?
Yeah, so everyone thought, myself included, that there were two options on the fifth-year option. Either pick it up, and he's guaranteed $20.7 million for the 2024 season, or don't pick it up, and he's going into his last year of his deal as a first-year starter. Well, there's a third option, and that was a contract extension, which is what they did. It essentially really gave him the same 2024 total of $20 million, $22 million, but they're able to do two things with it. One, they give him some money up front, which says to him, look, we believe in you. We're giving you this money. You're going to get some of it now. And two, it allows them to split that over 2 years of their salary cap. Because right now, if they just had picked up the fifth-year option, he would have been $2.2 million of his salary this year. And the other $20 million would be on next year's cap. So we know this team's been in cap trouble for a while. They're in it this year, but they want to take as much of it this year because they know it is kind of a rebuilding year, even though they won't use that word. Because after this year, they're free of Aaron Rodgers on the cap. $40.3 million of dead money is Aaron Rodgers' cap this year. And next year, they're completely free. So they were able to keep Jordan Love, give him a little bit of a pat on the back and say, don't worry about it. If things don't start great, we're not going to dump you because we got you for this year. And by doing this, we're going to be able to get a few more players next off season because we'll have more cap space.
What does a rebuilding year mean in Green Bay? Does it mean another year right around 500? Is that the expectation level from the fan base there?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. If you go back to 2008, and I'm not saying history will repeat itself, but as you know, it sort of already has with Rodgers going to the Jets and after Favre went to the Jets. When Rodgers took over, he had threw 28 touchdowns and 13 interceptions and threw for over 4,000 yards. And everybody realized, this guy's going to be pretty good. In fact, they gave him a contract extension in the middle of that 2008 season. But what people forget is they were 6-10 that year. And Rodgers had an experienced group of receivers. He had an experienced Donald Driver. He had an experienced Greg Jennings. He had guys that would go on to be, big stars with Jordy Nelson being the top. Also, James Jones, very good player. Jordan Love doesn't have that. He's got basically two receivers that have played any meaningful football, and that was Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs last year when they were rookies. They drafted three more receivers this year. So basically he's starting over with guys that just don't have a lot of experience. Same thing in the tight end room. They drafted two tight ends. So three receivers, two tight ends, and most of those guys are probably going to play. And some of them might play a fairly significant role. Specifically, they're top, both tight ends, and then the top receiver that they took, Jaden Reed out of Michigan State in the second round. I mean, he's probably going to be their number 3 receiver right away. So I think there's going to be some growing pains, and I think there's going to be a sense of patience with him. Where there's not going to be patience is on the defensive side of the ball, where they were loaded with talent, still are, and underperformed last year. I mean, to me, that was as big a reason as any that they were 8-9 last year. Rodgers obviously struggled with injuries, maybe wasn't as mentally into it, not as sharp maybe that in that regard as he has been in the past. But, when they needed their defense to kind of pull through for them, they did not. And by adding another top-line defensive player with Lucas Van Ness at number 13 overall, just tells you even more that they expect this defense to help Jordan Love along the way.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.